Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we're back with another absolutely massive story coming out of the LCS. This was 4 minutes ago. So boys, I'm heating up. I'm getting back into off-season mode where we're going to be bringing you guys the latest and greatest news, rumors, speculation, and confirmed stories in the LCS, LEC, and really all over the world in competitive League of Legends. Obviously, you guys can see the screen. You guys can read. You already know. 100 Thieves Esports tweeted out that they have parted ways with their LCS head coach, Zikz, LOL, on Twitter. Thank you, Tony, for all the time and effort you put into our team these past 3 splits. We all wish you the best in the future. Now, this was, I tweeted out saying this, that I've actually said in previous videos that I thought that Zikz could be fired and that 100 Thieves moving on from Zikz would not be completely shocking. But I actually am a little bit shocked and surprised on the timing of this. Between the spring and summer split is kind of an awkward time where a lot of people and a lot of teams don't make a ton of moves because the options out there aren't always great. And making moves in between splits can sometimes be a little bit awkward, but I definitely understand this one. I definitely get it, and that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you guys have not already, please take a second, smash that like button. Like I said, we're in off-season mode. We're going to be pumping out videos to you quick and getting you the stories. So I would just appreciate, you guys helping me out a little bit, dropping that like, helping me out with the YouTube algorithm. Also subscribing to stay up to date on all my latest content so you guys don't miss out on any of these stories. We could have big news coming out a couple different times a week. There's going to be a ton of awesome MSI stories, and we're going to be getting ready for summer split. So there's going to be some good stuff coming your guys' way. With that being said, let's get right into this one. So taking a look at what Zikz kind of tenure has looked like for 100 Thieves. Obviously, we can pull up the tournament results. We'll make this a little bit bigger. It's probably a little bit small out. It's on 90% for some reason. But like they said, he had 3 splits with 100 Thieves coming in, obviously, during the LCS 2020 spring, where they went 10-8. They finished 3rd in those spring playoffs. They actually finished, they lost in the 5th and 6th position. I don't know why I can't talk. Then in LCS Summer 2020, they ended up finishing 7th and then finishing 7th and 8th in the summer playoffs. Lock-in, they finished 3rd and 4th, and then in spring, they finished 4th, and then in this mid-season showdown that we just saw recently, they finished 4th. So the team's kind of been up and down during Zik's kind of reign as head coach for 100 Thieves, but especially this year, this team kind of started out hot, and they had pretty high expectations, bringing in this Golden Guardians roster from last year that was actually ended the season looking pretty strong and had high expectations coming into the year, especially when you swap out Someday for Haunter up in the top lane, and people were really, really excited for them, and they looked pretty good in the lock-in tournament. They lost 3-2. It went all the way to Game 5 against Cloud9, who then ended up losing in Game 5 to Team Liquid. So there was a real case to be made that 100 Thieves was the 3rd best team coming in to the beginning of the spring split, but also that they were right there with Cloud9, that they were right there with Team Liquid, and they had the talent and potential to really be competing for an LCS title, and even if they weren't going to win a title, to be right there and to maybe be looking like a Worlds team. But obviously that's not how things panned out. They ended up finishing 4th, which again wasn't too bad, but in the playoffs getting knocked out 3-1 by TSM, who then ends up losing to Team Liquid with the sub jungler. It ended up looking like 100 Thieves was pretty far away, and also as the season went on, it really looked like 100 Thieves was kind of getting worse, and by the end of it, even though they started out really strong, the wheels had kind of fallen off. And to me, that is maybe not entirely a reflection of coaching or management or leadership or anything like that, because obviously meta changed. They had some slumping players and stuff, but overall 100 Thieves has been a team under Zikz who has struggled in a lot of ways. They've had weird drafts. I know that was a big criticism of the team last year, is like they're not drafting properly, they're not utilizing Someday properly, but this is a very, very talented team that should have really probably been able to compete with the top 3 teams. Yes, them having a hole in the mid lane was a legitimate concern and obviously a big issue, but they still were not able to overcome a lot of their stuff because TSM had issues too, Team Liquid had issues too, Cloud9 had issues too, and all 3 of those teams seemed to get better over the course of the split. They all maybe looked better towards the end of the year than they did at the beginning of the year, but 100 Thieves was the opposite, and it just kind of seemed to me like 100 Thieves could maybe benefit from new leadership, a new voice there, and at the end of the day, I just don't think Zikz is really that good of a coach. If we look back at his previous stint with TSM, TSM, one of the best organizations, he got pretty talented teams, and yes, they did make it to that one final with Zikz, obviously, where they ended up getting 2nd, I believe, as the head coach of TSM. Yeah, in the spring playoffs where they lost 3-2 to Team Liquid, that was like the Sven game. But then again, this is them finishing third in the spring, finishing second in the playoffs, and then coming back and finishing fourth in the summer before not getting knocked out in the fifth and sixth spot in the playoffs, and then not qualifying for Worlds. So that was another team, Zikz with TSM, where they kind of looked worse in summer than they did in spring, and teams under Zikz aren't really getting better. It seems like him getting 2 big jobs with TSM and 100 Thieves, that he's kind of riding the wave from his CLG days still, because obviously he was a CLG coach for a long time. He actually won a title with them, won multiple titles with CLG, and then almost won a title with TSM too. So, he does have some accolades. He does have some kind of backing behind him. But at the time he was with CLG, they were one of the biggest organizations. He also finished second at MSI, which is pretty crazy. But recently, I feel like he's kind of been off his game. I have not been as impressed with him recently, and I really do think that's what's leading to him being let go. Also, 100 Thieves has a ton of issues, which I don't think are all to blame on Zikz. I think the players have to accept some blame. I think Zikz definitely needs to accept some blame. I think Papa Smithy definitely needs to accept some blame for how things have been going the last couple of years on 100 Thieves, with kind of weird roster decisions, weird player decisions, weird drafts, weird play style, kind of lacking identity as a team overall, despite spending money, despite having some really, really talented players. I mean, they have a decent roster right now, but it just seems like they're at this weird place where they're trying to make a transition. They're trying to make a change for the future. They want things to be different. They need things to be different. This is a massive organization. 100 Thieves has a big fan base, and this team wants to be going to Worlds. They want to be getting things done. They want to be a force in League of Legends, because that's going to help them grow. If they, everyone jokes about being a hoodie org or a merch org or whatever, and, I just recently picked up the new 100 Thieves jersey. I think their stuff looks really, really sick, but LCS, League of Legends being one of the biggest, if not the biggest esport in the world, you want to get to the top of it. You want to be competing for titles. You want to be, one of the great teams. They want to be in the conversation of TL, Cloud9, and TSM. They don't want to be the first team on the outside looking in. They need to break in to that group of 3 teams, and they need to become one of those 3 teams, because at the end of the day, there's only going to be 3 world slots. So they need to make some changes. Yes, they're close. And yes, Zikz maybe got them to a good enough position. Were they terrible under Zikz? No, absolutely not. They were a respectable team. 4th in the LCS is not a bad finish at all, but I don't think he was doing much as a coach in terms of helping this team get better, making this team improve over time, giving them crazy, exceptional drafts or anything like that. So again, he has had his days of being a great coach, and maybe at one point he was really all that, but I was not impressed with him on TSM that much, and I think TSM has been better off without him, and I also have not been impressed with him at 100 Thieves that much. Yes, you could do way worse than Zikz. I'm not saying he is terrible. There are much worse coaches out there, but I'm not surprised that they're making this change, and I definitely do not hate it. Zikz did tweet out that he's thankful for the opportunity from 100 Thieves. He's going to miss everyone he worked with during his time there, and he's sad that it ended this way. As for the future, he's not sure what it holds yet, and it's not time. And if it's time for him to take a break or not, but he'll be fielding offers. So he is looking for a team. It'll be interesting to see if any of the teams out there kind of get excited, if any of the teams out there do want to take him up on this offer. As far as who the potentially next 100 Thieves coach has been, or who could it be? They haven't tweeted anything out in that regards just yet. I mean, we can check one more time to see if there's an updated tweet or anything. But when I checked previously, yeah, there was no new tweet, so we still don't know who the next 100 Thieves coach is going to be. Honestly, I've heard rumors of potentially a Narrow going to 100 Thieves. I don't know. I know Golden Guardians really likes an Arrow, and I know they don't want to lose him and let him go, so I don't know if there's a big buyout there or if 100 Thieves is even interested, but I know an Arrow is one of the most well-respected North American coaches, has some oceanic ties, obviously, with Papa Smithy, so that could be an interesting play. 100 Thieves Academy is coached by Golden Glue, so would they be willing to promote him after just a single split in the academy? I don't think so necessarily. I think they'd probably want to see more time with him as well, but he's obviously a guy who people are maybe excited about as being kind of a head coach of the future. Obviously a hard-working guy who had a great mind for the game and was pretty talented as a player, even though he couldn't necessarily ever himself break into being a consistent high-level player. That doesn't mean he can't be a great coach. 100 Thieves obviously sees some potential in him, giving them their academy team. So that is an interesting option, but right now is a big inflection point for 100 Thieves. What are they going to be doing? Is Niski going to be coming in the mid lane? And if he does, this new head coach, whoever it is going to be put in a pretty good position. All of a sudden, 100 Thieves is a team that could compete for a world slot. With Niski in the mid lane, they absolutely could take down TSM. They could compete with Team Liquid. They could compete with Cloud9, and I think this would be an interesting squad, especially if Someday steps up and has a big split next year. If FBI steps up and has a big split next year, this is going to be a talented team that this new head coach is going to be getting. And if they have good drafts, if this coach comes in and implements a good style and gets people motivated and also has players improving over the course of summer split, this team could be a force to reckon with, because again, records carry over from I can't talk, from spring to summer. I had to burp. Records carry over from spring to summer, so they're going to be in 4th place. They're like only a game or 2 back from TSM, Team Liquid, and Cloud9. It's pretty much anybody's ball game going into summer, so this team's not in a bad position at all. Usually, you know, when your coach gets fired, maybe your organization's looking like a dumpster fire, or maybe things are really, really doomed or whatever, but this team's looking solid. We don't know exactly what's going to be going on in the mid lane, if Someday's getting his green card, if they're going to bring in Tenacity or Kenvi or what else, but this is a pretty talented team. Any coach would be lucky to have this be their position, because again, you could be in a much worse spot. You could be coaching Golden Guardians or something like that. If you can walk into the 100 Thieves job, a big organization that pays well, that has a talented team, that's an exciting proposition. But yeah, the big news here is that 100 Thieves is making moves. Maybe a new mid laner, definitely a new coach. Zikz is gone. Where's he going to end up? You know, I don't exactly know, but I don't think he'll get a job this year. Maybe into 2022, maybe in the off season. But again, in between splits, kind of a weird time, kind of hard. Not a ton of jobs out there, not a ton of supply, not a ton of demand. We'll see what happens. But the biggest story going on right now, again, is the thank you Zikz put out by 100 Thieves. That's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Helps me out the YouTube algorithm. Leave a comment down below. Do you think this is a good move by 100 Thieves? Who do you think their next head coach should be? And if you were a team, like, what team do you think Zikz should go to? What team do you think should be looking at Zikz? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.